Today we're going to talk about a few things. I'm going to start with talking about two curves. Okay, these two curves is something that is very common in the business world. Okay, and what are they? They are what we call the demand curve and the supply curve. Basically, you understand, one is demand, one is supply. Okay, and if you can see, the bottom one is actually demand. That means there are people who want to buy things, so those are demand. Because there's a demand, there's a supply. So there are people who basically pack things, make things from all over the world, and they supply you to meet your demand. So where demand and supply curve meets, right, that's where the price and quality. So basically this is what most business class will be teaching. But today I want to introduce you 3 new curves. Okay? What are they? First curve is critical mass curve. Now this is actually a graph to state the growth of internet. From 1995, 16 million people were online, which amount to 0.4% of the world population. Okay, 10 years later, okay, in 2005, is 14.9%. That means the number has increased drastically from 16 million to 957 million. You look at the growth rate. Now, this is what we mean by critical mass. That means within a very short span of time, there is a huge growth where it reaches a certain point that so many people are connected online that it becomes a way for people to communicate, for people to trade, for people to do business with each other. And now, we have about 21.9%, okay, of the world's population is online. And this amount will, I don't have to tell you, I'm sure you know, it will continue to increase. Okay? So this is the first curve you have to remember. That means high growth rate, where you reach a certain point, where so many people are doing the same thing. This is called critical mass. Second curve. Okay, 615 million visits Amazon yearly basis to buy mostly books or to browse or view or whatever. Okay, largely the visitors are mainly from the US, but there's also a huge growing percentage from around the world, right? So they view books and they buy the books from Amazon. Yeah. As more and more people go to Amazon, they will come to a point, this is called the tipping point, and after that point, the curve will surge. That means a huge number of people suddenly will start to visit Amazon because by word of mouth, because Amazon got very good reviews, and because it's easy to use, and because it's connected online, and it's 24/7. What happened with Amazon, with a lot of companies that achieve critical mass, they will come to a point. This is the point where we call it tipping point. Once they reach the point, suddenly their business will grow 10 times, 20 times. And this is especially so when you are connected online. So, average Borders bookshop, it's already considered incredible for a bookshop to hold 100,000 titles. Okay, so imagine you walk into Borders, there are a huge number of books. But Amazon, right, the number is increasing every day. They have roughly 5 million titles for you to choose from. Okay, and then 1/4 of the sales actually come from outside compared to, let's say, the Borders 100,000 titles. That means their sales on Amazon is basically those titles that you can't find in a bookstore. The success of their business. Now this is a very interesting phenomenon, and it only happens online because they are able to carry such a huge number of titles. So the third curve is called the long tail. Okay, the long tail basically means after you have certain numbers and you are able to sell, okay, different odd titles for a very long time. Okay, so what Amazon does is that they sell titles that you have not heard for a long time, they've gone out of print, that they are so small quantity that you can't find in borders, but Amazon is able to sell it. So although they sell 1 copy, 2 copy, 1 copy, 2 copy, but they are able to sell it for a long time. Whereas in borders, because it's physical, they are limited by their shelf, so they can only put so many books. But Amazon would not have that constraint. So they can put 5 million and for you to pick and choose. So you search. So this is the only phenomenon that happens mostly for online business. That they have this long tail, long stretch at the back, where they can sell for a long time, but in small quantity. So although most business are having problem now, but Amazon recently reported 48% growth. Okay, they are one of the few companies in the world that is still growing. Okay, because of the way they run their online business. Remember the 3 curves? Okay, so if you are banana umbrella, how do you build your momentum, right, to reach a critical mass? Okay, so you need to build that up, and once you build that up, when will it be popular enough to reach a tipping point where there's a huge surge of explosion of interest, where a lot of people will come to you and start buying? And then, once you go online, you are able to sell for a long time, even in small quantity. But because it's a long period of time, it ensures you a sustainable income. Yes? So this is basically the 3 curves. Alright? Rules to a successful.com. So basically today what I'm trying to get you to do is to turn your idea into a .com idea. How do you do that? So later on when you come out and present your idea, right, it must be more than a good idea. It must be an idea that potentially can change the world, but it must be a .com company. It must be a company that is able to go online.